Welcome, everyone. You are on with us now tonight for Blue Box Loremaster's Arcanum episode 54, which is a virtual Greyhawk Con recap. I'm so excited tonight to be joined by, as always, the amazing Evelyn, whose black lipstick last night is all the rage across the internet, by Robert PhantomNJ, who was a rock star and now is being requested for karaoke across the planet. And then, of course, I have tonight the one, the only, LordGosumba, Jay Scott joining us, and we're so glad to have him on. And I'm going to close this and get everything set.
I love how the auto host feature doesn't work anymore, and it's like a 2-minute delay on it, so you got to wait and wait.
Yeah, I've noticed. Every single time I've had to go and put it in automatically.
There, let's get that up and good. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Be a quick show tonight, but excited to talk about everything that happened. It was a great weekend. Really fun, Jay.
It was a blast. Absolute blast this time. I mean, you know, each time's getting a little more better, professionally done, a little more better, and it's that. Oh gosh, just to make.
Did you just say a little more better?
Yeah, you know, I'm just.
I'm an English guy,
just like
Jay.
you, John. It's been a long day today.
I can speak good the English.
Yes.
I speak it the bestest.
I'm just making sure my son's getting picked up to go to.
All right, and I think that's good. Let's go ahead and I'm going to kill this, and we're going to kick this off tonight. Thanks for your patience, everyone. We definitely had some technical challenges. As all of you know, Twitch was hacked last night, or actually probably a couple of days ago, but the release got out last night and today, and it's not good. So if you're watching and you have not been in my Discord, or you've not seen the internet anywhere, or you're living under a rock, it is important for you to change your Twitch password. Go ahead and reset all your credentials, and if it's a password that you've used, for example, if you had password 123 as your Twitch password, and you were using password 123 on your Bank of America account or your PayPal account or your whatever, please change those as well. It's a massive data breach that just happened, and that requires resetting stream keys, which caused us a bit of a glitch tonight. But with all that said, I am honored, as I said earlier, to be joined tonight by Robert, Evelyn, and Jay, and we're going to do a little bit of a recap on virtual Greyhawk Con. And so, Jay, I know you would likely think that I would start with you tonight, but because that's what you're expecting, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with Robert tonight. Robert, I want you to tell me about your highlight this weekend as a DM at Virtual Greyhawk Con, because you did a lot this weekend.
Oh dear God, as a DM. Well, it's interesting because I had two games that went about as differently as possible. Well, first of all, my first session was the first session that I ever streamed to my channel. I mean, I've streamed to my channel before, but never a game. I've streamed multiple games to Blue Box, but never to my channel. So that was kind of cool. It was also, I actually went over the 100 follower mark in the middle of that first session, which was also really cool. But yeah, my first game, I was about 5 seconds away from a TPK. One of the party members was down, and they had some awesome dice luck right at the end that kept them from at least losing one player, if not losing the entire party. And then the second party, the second session, I didn't think they were going to survive the first set of monsters I threw at them, which were supposed to be just something to get them warmed up, get them used to combat, because a lot of them had not been used to Castles and Crusades before. And then suddenly they got to the real enemy and basically wiped the floor with them.
So Robert, why didn't you have the guts to finish off the party?
because I don't fudge dice rolls, and
well, you don't have to fudge a
got off the
dice
bad
roll.
start.
You just have to drop another monster in the midst. Pop that chromatic dragon in. There's no fudging of dice rolls necessary.
The monster I threw at them had absolutely no problem going right through their most armored character, their most armored player. They just happened to be in a spot where it was one person at a time. So the knight valiantly fought to keep the party from getting overrun. Paid for it, didn't die, but they were 2 seconds away from the next person being taken out, and they had a run of good dice and managed to basically trap the creature.
All right, good. And so I want to come back to some of that in a moment. But as I continue to keep Jay waiting. Oh, Biggie Paw, thanks for the raid. Toriano, hope you had a good time doing some Tailspire crafting. I know you were doing that today. I wish I could have joined you. I was scrambling with work and prep for tonight, so I didn't get to see that stream, but I'll check it out later. Let's go to Evelyn as we continue to keep Jay on ice. Evelyn, you really wanted to play in some of the virtual Greyhawk streams. You wanted to play in both the Blue Box streams, and yet you could not. Tell me about that frustration.
It filled up really fast, and it was really sad because I wanted to play, but they were full. So yeah, but it was really cool to watch. And I got to cheer Josh on in the melee. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. All right. So no, and so next year we're going to work on that a little bit. Jay and I talked about this earlier this week, making sure that we can get all kinds of folks involved and keep the entire community engaged with what we do in VGHC 3 next year. So now we go to the man of the hour, Jay, LordGosumba. Thank you. Let me start there. Just thank you. All that you did, your organizational efforts, your just the intensity of your work ethic is astounding, and it is an inspiration to all of us in the community. I just want to say thank you for Virtual Greyhawk Con.
John, thank you for the kind words, but it's the whole community. It's not just me, but it's everyone. So I'm just the overseer. But without the tech team, without the DMs, without the people interested in signing up, we don't have a con, and that's the great thing about it. It's a community effort. So, but I really appreciate the kind words.
Well, your humble dissembling fell flat, but I appreciate it. So tell us a little bit more about the Grand Melee, because I only got to see a little bit about it, but holy crap, what Bill did, the Master Crafter, truly is the crafting master. It was absolutely insane. It seemed like a great time. Tell us a little bit more about what happened, if anyone missed it, in the Grand Melee.
So let's we'll go back 4 or 5 months, and we're having our first meeting. I think you would miss that because you were out of town, John, on the streamers about what we're going to do, how we're going to set up this, and I had Stella and a couple other streamers with me, and Anna and Josh Pop, and I said, look, do you want me on my Saturday night, do you want me to try and get Luke and Eric Moan and them and play another D&D game, or do you want me to do something like the Joust? And they're like, do something like the Joust. So I was like, well, how about a Grand Melee? So then they were all jumping about doing that, and I was like, oh my God, we got to get an arena. And so then the 4-month process of getting that bill, seriously, that's how long it took. Yeah. To get that arena all up in that state was by Bill was it took about 4 months of crafting and printing, and so that end of it was Herculean as far as the play part was easy. 20 characters. I got a bunch of VIPs in the game, had open signups, had my own players playing, and Bill cheated and won. So what can I say? I'm kidding. There was no cheating. There was no cheating at all. It was fun. It was blast. It was a lot to manage, but I wanted to be a little chaotic. I didn't want this one-on-one. I wanted fighting going on all over the place. So no, we had a blast with it.
That's the bit I saw that I loved, because it was very linear with the Grand Joust. It was this one against this one. I was hoping the melee would be a bit more chaotic, and that's what I saw. It was so much fun. And then you handled the rolling of the dice, the D20s in the room. To ensure the integrity of the game, correct?
and to speed it up at both, because I was really worried, like, with communication and stuff and so much going on, I was worried it was going to really slow down the game of all roll this, so we just did it right out there. Unfortunately, Tom is the worst roller in the world, and literally on, like, for example, Michael Mossberger, Von Moku's character, Matthew Barnabas, he literally fumbled from 3 straight rounds. I mean, but that's the way the dice go. There was a lot of fumbles. Yeah, it was, yes, Tom was never rolling for anyone ever again there, Mike.
Yeah, Mike absolutely. Said Tom was horrible. But that makes for fun.
Yes.
Evelyn, Robert, I know you guys watched a lot of that. Do you have any comments on the Grand Melee and thoughts on what happened? Because I thought that was such a fun night.
Oh, God. But let's put it by that time I was
exhausted.
Yeah, I was good 30 hours in at that point. Between Friday and Saturday, most of Saturday. So I remember parts of it. I remember seeing the ending. There was a lot going on. I let's put it, I caught enough to enjoy it, but it was rough. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I could see that. I mean, a lot of us put time in, and I want to ask Jay a little bit more about the time that went into it. But Evelyn, did you have any comments on that?
I enjoyed it. It was cool seeing it because I watched obviously the joust last year, and it was really cool seeing the different formats of how that was done. So yeah.
So it was done in old school 1E, 2E, John. So a lot of people may not have understood how the combat was running, but we kept it simple and basic with the fight.
I was also in a session at the time with Great Bit was running a Castle and Crusade session that I was in, which was the only session that I did all weekend that wasn't streamed, which was kind of.
I don't know how you went. You went like 24/7 for 3 days. Robert, I don't know how you did it, man. I mean, it was almost
nonstop.
That much.
He was nonstop.
Nonstop.
Pure force of will.
Yeah.
Pure force of will. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate that sub. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. So, Jay, year 1, the joust. Year 2, the melee. What's year 3?
Year 1, Gary Con, the joust. It was not at Greyhawk Con. Greyhawk Con last year, I had Luke and I had Venarium Vord, Eric Mona, and that's when he stole the tongue. If you remember in that adventure. So we did the joust at Gary Con. And I don't know what's going to happen at Gary Con this year. I won't go into those details now, but so I don't know what's being in store for next year because we got a lot of decisions to make. And the number one decision is because we've already got other streamers who want to participate. In order for other streamers to participate, we're going to have to go to 4 days.
Oh,
that's the thing. Do we go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday next year instead of just Friday, Saturday, Sunday? We're gonna have to make that decision at some point.
No, I love that, and I think 4 days there is plenty of appetite for that in the community. So let's open that up to the chatters. What suggestions do you, the chatters, have for what comes next after the Grand Melee next year in VGHC 3? All right, now, Jay, I think the thing everyone wants to know is. You just gave some very worthy props to Robert for how busy he was and active he was. But my friend, you are a machine. So what goes into planning a con like this? Like, how many hours did you spend? You just give us even like a high level sense of what goes into making something like that happen.
All right, so I'm going to make Bill laugh because I see him on. I'm a control freak. Okay, so I like to have my hands in on everything. I'd say, this is a guess, 20 hours a week for the last 2 months.
Wow. And
then 10 hours a week previous to that for the month before that, something like that, because you have coordinating the streamers, you have getting on with of all the advertising, because you got to constantly advertise. Getting the this year we added in merchandise and we added in an artist, which we didn't do last year, and I had to get all that coordinated with Stella and Carson Druitt, and then get the shirts made and get the inventory in and get them on. There's a lot. So get my own games made, get the characters organized, get Anna's stream set up, ask the experts, make sure the guests are coming for that. It's a lot, but I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it and love it.
Well, no, it shows. I mean, it shows that you love it. I mean, everyone can see that. But do you ever get stressed? Because every time I talk to you, you're always encouraging. You're always like, hey, don't worry about it. Everything's fine, John. You're always the encourager. Do you ever get stressed?
Yes. Oh, yes. All the time. Absolutely. I usually get stressed when my wife's yelling at me.
Same.
I'm kidding.
No, you're
yeah, I know. So, yes, because I want things to go well. And I got really stressed. And I'm not calling out anyone. I got really stressed when a couple key games got canceled the week before. And I'm not talking about live streams. I'm talking about some of the couple of the games. And then Gitano got ill, was in the hospital. He's doing much better now. That really got my stress levels up, because there were 3 games that were filled that got canceled a week before, and I was like, oh my god! And then someone, Balfrin, said to me, "There's nothing you can do about it, Jay. Just relax. You didn't do it." I was like, okay,
yeah.
But that really brought my stress level up. This year, the streamers were fantastic. They had some technical issues, but they all went on time. They all ran their games, got off for the most part on time, which was good, and it flowed very well, and the audience grew and grew after each stream, which was fantastic. So
it really did, and that was something you and I talked about too. The way the audience really carried from stream to stream, it passed on. It was a very, very engaged community this last weekend, which was so great to see. I'm
hopeful that all of the streamers got a benefit, and that's why we do it. GaryCon wants it all on one channel. I'm not a fan of that. We did that last year because they asked and requested, basically insisted. I'm not a fan of that, because you have to finish dead on at a time because someone else is coming on. It's just a mess to coordinate. Plus, I think the streamers all should get the benefit of live streaming on their channel, and that's what about growing community is all about.
Right.
So, that was something that we're going to continue doing it that way, because I think it works very well.
No, I love that, and I want to come back to that in a second, Jay. But you and I have also talked about that there's sometimes with cons, they will push all the content onto their channel to grow just the con channel, and that's not so helpful to the community. And I think you've really had this egalitarian approach, which supports all of the streaming community, and this is sort of the rising tide lifts all ships. That's been your philosophy, and I appreciate it. It's been good.
Well, thank you. And I think that is, it showed in numbers. And I'm hopeful that a lot of streams got new followers, maybe some new subs, and got their name out there. And, I think the number one thing that once someone plays in a stream, they're fans of that stream from that time on, right? That's the great thing, because they become so close. And I think we saw that last year, and even we saw that with GaryCon participation within the streams, that they become close friends, and I was very, very pleased from what I saw from all over. Even our min in the middle of the night stream was holding 40 people. Had a 40 viewer average at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow,
that's insane.
That is insane. Yes.
Yeah, think about that. So that was fantastic, and. It was very encouraging to see. I've gotten just positive results and feedback back. We do have a questionnaire going out shortly. It's going to go out to everyone who's in that mailing list. I may give it to John to put in the Blue Box Discord, but it's not going out until Chuck is. I get to bust Chuck. Chuck has not given me the final swag bag from Troller Games Code yet for everyone. Just like they did last year. So, it's going to have a ton of stuff in it, and I'm waiting for that. And once that comes out, we'll get the questionnaire out and the final swag bag out to everyone.
Love it. All right. So some comments in the chat. Chris, Set Monkey suggested a great Greyhawk cook-off for next year. We also had a suggestion here for a how-to session. I am Devine, a fairly new follower on my channel, popped in I think a couple 3 weeks ago, but has been very active. I am Devine, we're glad to have you again with us tonight. As a noob, would love a how-to session, Greyhawk character building. That's a really good idea, we could do that. And then to the comment on your shirt, Robert, that's something that really strikes me, because I would be wearing a Return to the Moat House shirt should I have one. For some reason, I don't. And everybody on the con was mocking me for not wearing my shirt. Jay didn't send me one. I don't know why.
Well, wait, hold on there. You had to get on that shirt the second Jay announced it, because they were gone quick. I mean, it was snap. I mean, you got just like those spots, those spots in the Blue Box games that were also.
Oh, Robert Flex. Let's go.
You gotta camp that stuff. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I have 6 left. I think 6. And a couple sizes. I still have like 6 of them left, but I was trying. So now I know how much artwork costs. I'm trying to recoup some of that. Oh my gosh.
No lie.
Oh,
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm jumping right on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that, Robert. It's nice. It's going out to a lot of the community. And it's the first time I've ever done merchandise before on a site. I'd love to do it a different way with the fees that TTE charges, but I don't know a way around that. But all that money goes back in, so it's all a net zero.
Right.
I should say a net negative.
It's a net negative,
case,
Jay. Come on, man. It's a net negative. We all know it's a negative.
Yeah. But that's all right. I don't mind.
So you said something a moment ago. You talked about, once someone plays in a game on your stream, they're really part of the community and they connect.
Yes.
Robert, you got to see that firsthand coming to our Blue Box Con last year. What meeting people does to connect and create that connective tissue in the community is insane. And just this last weekend, I got to meet Ken, Select Striker, who I'd never met online before. I got to meet Mac or Tim, Ranger Harley. I'd never met him online before. And I felt like there's immediately a connection with these people. That's part of what these cons can do for these communities as well. But you, I think, as much as anyone, have felt the power of connecting through the community. Talk about that, Robert.
So we were talking about the carryover from stream to stream. I had, for my 2 streams, one of which was like in the middle of the afternoon, the other one was at 10 a.m. at middle of the afternoon on a Friday, which was like far from ideal. I mean, it was hard to fill up the seats just because it wasn't a good time for a lot of people. I had 20 to 25, it was anywhere between 20 and 30 people watching, and I wasn't one. I was going up against the big stream. What do you call it? The premier streamers. I was not on a list. It was just people who knew me, who were watching this thing. I both times I rated into whoever was the featured streamer with anywhere between 20 and 25 people at the end, which was, for me, that was incredible.
That's fantastic.
It was a great feeling, and had engagement in the chat, and it's just and I'm not gonna lie, it's most of them had chatters, but I had people from Nightheart Gaming stop in. It was great.
Yeah,
I tried showing my face on every single stream. Yeah. So,
Jay was everywhere. I was everywhere. Jay was everywhere. You got to stop running into each other like this.
Well, I told Jay I can only be everywhere at a virtual Greyhawk Con if he moves the weekend, because it's my wife's birthday weekend every year. Although the birthday is getting a day later, so it's going to be Wednesday next year. So now you can maybe push it into the next weekend. We'll see. What do you think, Evelyn? Does that work?
Works for me.
Thank you, Aloha Tux, and all the other folks that have joined us tonight. We're here with LordGosumba and with Robert and Evelyn. So, Evelyn, as you watched all the streams, name a moment that stood out to you. And of course, you have to say the overboard. Yeah, that has to.
The overboard was awesome. I liked the dual voice thing. I'm trying to think about the other ones because I caught a little bit of Kayla's stream. I watched a bit of Stella Luna's stream. I caught Robert's stream on Saturday morning for a good chunk of it. trying to think. I mean, it was like it was just really cool seeing all the different games and the different ways people ran their games.
Patrick.
So
Yeah.
it was a bit of a blur. Yeah.
What'd you say, Robert?
I mean, it was amazing. I had to think about it. You know, I probably experienced pretty much every style of gaming that you can possibly have. Like Kayla's game was, Kayla's game, which was the first game that I played in. It was a 5e game, and there was no combat. We could have had combat. We opted to go a different route because we decided we didn't like the person who we were on the quest for, and there was no combat. And then, and that was a 5e game.
Awesome.
Then I ran a Castles and Crusades game where there was enough combat to keep them busy, and again, nearly TPK the party. I played in I played in your Friday night session where it was 5e-ish, I think we'll call it.
Yeah, e-ish. That's right, 5e-ish.
All kinds of
That's
things
right.
in there. It was all over the place. I played in Prometheus, ran a game that was 1e, 2e, or I'm not sure. Might have been 1e, might have been 2e. I'm not entirely sure, but it'd been a long time since I'd played in a pure game like that. And every kind of ending possible too. Like in Great Babe's game, he was running Castles and Crusades. I got to actually play Castles and Crusades as a player for the second time.
Right.
Which was funny because he kept asking me what the rules were. But we decided that our big fighter, post of Friday where we got pretty much wiped out, our big fighter took an acid blast to the face, and we decided, nope, we're getting out of here. So we all just said, discretion is the better part of valor. We're getting out. So every kind of ending you can think of, all the different editions. It was an amazing, just all kinds of experiences that weekend.
No, I love that, and I think that's a good thing for us to kind of switch to and talk about that a little bit, the additions and the style. Go ahead, Evelyn.
I was gonna say another really cool thing for me was actually like getting to see all these people that I know by their handles on Twitch, and like actually putting a face to the names, because they're like you said, it was like Rig Ranger and Obsidian Risk and like all these people whose names like I know from chat, and actually getting to see them and actually getting to see them play as well and seeing how they play. And also the Sunday Blue Box game was really fun. I loved the Tailspire of the city, but like actually getting to see some people like role play that I haven't had a chance to see like their roleplay chops was really cool, and I appreciate like that aspect of it, getting more of the community involved.
Yeah, so well said. And I think, like, as Robert was mentioning, like the styles were so different in each stream, but it was all Greyhawk themed, and that was what the whole weekend was about. And that's the wondrous part of the world of Greyhawk, is there's so much lore, there's so much content, there's so much history, so much backstory. You can drop anything from 1E to 5E. You can use minis. You can do theater of mind. Sunday, my stream was largely theater of mind. I kind of threw in some token Tailspire scenes, but I wasn't really prepped for a whole lot, and it was just basically it was a lot of fun. And it doesn't matter what you like to play in terms of your edition. The world of Greyhawk is just inexhaustible in terms of content. And Jay, that's kept you playing in this world for over 4 decades. But you don't look it, man. You look like maybe 20 years at most.
Oh my. If anyone saw Kayla this afternoon put up high school, I know Evie posted too, high school and then present day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have my members only jacket on, leather one, and I was like, oh geez. But yeah, I just feeling good. Things are going well.
Yeah.
Things are going real well. I think things are going real well for the community, and that's very. It could always be better, and we don't have to talk on negatives. But I would love to reach out and get. It's amazing, some of these communities we can't break into them. We've tried and tried and tried. It's just you would think, Robert probably knows a couple of the ones I'm talking about too. So
look,
it's tough.
I think that's a good. Let's take a little departure here from the super positive, which is normally my style anyway, and let's just be real for a moment. You and I have had these conversations, Jay, a bit, and I'm not going to mention names, but I think it's good to talk about etiquette in Twitch and etiquette in streaming. And I see some people have this in spades, And frankly, I'm not blowing smoke at you. You know this is true. You and I think, connected because we share this same sense of gratitude. When someone helps you, you help them. If someone does something, you say thank you. Robert's been the same way. Robert has done so much to influence the community. Of course, Evelyn. I would not have Blue Box without Evelyn. But I also find at times there are people that just don't get it. And again, I don't want to call anyone out. I just want to talk about conceptually, when you talk about the community and reaching out or trying, not so much to be critical, but to help others. Maybe you're a streamer, you've got a channel growing, perhaps nascent in your community. Jay, what advice would you give to someone to be a good member of the community and to engage other people in a way that helps you grow? Yeah.
Well, all right. So just a plain old viewer or someone who's streaming? You want me to get a little specific?
Both. Yeah, do both.
Well, all right. Well, a plain old viewer. Twitch cares about numbers. Even if you can't watch, put your computer on and lurk. I'm serious. I mean, that sounds insane, but we all need the numbers. That's all they care about. They care about those numbers, and if your numbers aren't where they're going to be, they're not going. We're not going to move forward. That's number one. Two,
right.
enjoy the community and give back a little bit. So whether it's in Discord or whether it's on Cannon Fire with some ideas or participating in conversations, or even giving suggestions to myself or John or any other streamer of another stream you may find interesting, or a DM, anything. Grow the community. Participate in as little or as much as you can. I mean, that's the important thing. It's a lot.
I think what I heard you say, Jay, in summary was reciprocate.
Yes.
Right? I mean, and it's so well timed. Yes. Constructed Chaos is in the chat now. Constructed Chaos, that's a great new channel. I've been following them since they started. And we've talked, and they reciprocate. I raid, they say thank you, we talk, we chat. I've raided people, Jay, with good raids, 50, 70, 90 viewers, and I get crickets, not even a thank you. And I'm not looking for anything sort of obsequious, but just a general sense of gratitude in the community to reciprocate. That to me is an absolute, it's a baseline standard. If you don't do that, I'm not rating you again.
So I have been surprised on some of the ones that I have raided into that I have names. I don't raid into the mega ones. I'm not raiding into critical.
Yeah, I don't
in my life.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I've raided into some really large streams. I'm not going to name any names. There's some people have been around a while, and I've gotten crickets. Not even, and you know me. If anyone has raided into me, I will either say thank you in Twitch chat or Discord or however. Facebook Messenger, I will always attempt to thank everyone for that, and it's just etiquette, and that is a red flag. Move on.
Yeah, I
mean that's the part. Rating is kind of like almost a social experiment. I'm giving a little bit of my tricks away, but when you're rating into someone, you're going to see how they're going to respond back to you, and that's a big thing. So. Yeah.
No, well said. And the chat's liking this. It's about to get real. Be gracious. It's important. That's right, Bill.
Absolutely.
Mike Disney said, pay it forward. Don't be a jerk. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all we're saying. It just, when someone does something nice for you, say thank you. And try to pay it back and pay it forward. That's, I didn't really plan on that, but I just thought that was a good topic for us to jump into since I had you on with me tonight. Robert, go ahead.
No, I was saying, and I've also noticed that some streamers, they don't appear to have, even if the people playing the game, it's like there's no one paying attention to chat at all, and it's fine. I mean, if you want to just run a game and you're just running a game to run it on Twitch, that's fine. And we'll figure it out. But sometimes it's like you don't. There's like no engagement whatsoever, and I'm like, okay, that's weird.
There's a lot of bizarrities. Let me say this: I am not the be all end all guru of Twitch. I mean, if I was, I wouldn't have gotten rejected for partner 9 times. Okay, so all right, it's been 9. By the way, the 10th has been out there already. All right, so that's right after the con. I was like, we'll see. I haven't gotten rejected in 48 hours, and that's happened before, so that's a good sign so far. But so I'm not the be all end all of how to do this properly, but I think that as long as communication is the key, and I think a lot of it's generational. And I'm not trying to downplay anyone, but I think it's just the younger streamers or people don't know better, that haven't been in the business world like John, like you or me or Robert or people out there. I think that's a lot of it has to do is that we come from different, we haven't been streaming first, and that could be it. But there are some great streams out there that are just looking to be found, just over the years. We've all know the community's grown. We have more than we did before, and hopefully we keep on growing more. And my goal is to get, and one reason I want to get the partner status is to get a stream team together of all the streamers in one big place. That's the number one reason. So wish us luck on getting that. And then we'd have everyone together, one button. There'll be a team name. No matter who's streaming, press the button, goes right to it. And that's hopefully what will happen someday. 3 years plus so far. So we'll see.
No, you are more of an expert in things Twitch than you own here. And the partner thing, it's a bit of arcane science. I'm not sure exactly how they do what they do, but I like it. Mike Disney, just RESPECT from Mike Disney. That's all you need is just a little bit. It is a fun and fair thing to do for anyone in the community. And some don't read their chat, others do. But I think in general, just supporting and being not being a jerk, I think was so well said earlier. That's really important. Ranger Harley, Tim, you were thanked earlier, and it was great to have you on my stream Sunday. It was fun to meet you. All right, so switching gears now, I want to talk a little bit about play style and additions. This came up earlier. We saw everything from 1E to 5E, and I have been very much an advocate that additions are secondary. I really don't care what you play. And I'm not trying to be funny. It's true. I've never played 4E. I've never had a 4E character. I've never run a 4E game. But every other edition I've run, and I think it's very easy. I can switch between Thaco and inverse ACs and all of that, reflex save versus con saves. Evelyn, you've seen the same thing. You've played in 3.5 campaigns. You've played in 5E campaigns. You've seen the 1E, 2E stuff. You've done everything from the Lord of the Rings, Middle Earths, to Paizo, to Greyhawk. How have you found it switching between? So actually, let me. I'll add this to it. So on Sunday, I got a little hung up because there was a detect magic being cast, and I couldn't remember the radius and the range.
Bless spell.
Right, bless. It was bless. That's right. Range. So you do have some of those mechanics that you sometimes have to switch between, and they're a little bit different in every edition. But what are your thoughts on sort of moving from edition to edition?
Well, it's just like mentally shifting, like remembering which one you're in, and having to double check things because, I've played the most of 3.5 Pathfinder. Like that's where I've spent most of my gaming life, because that's where I started when I was 18, was at 3.5. And so like that is the one I am most familiar with. But I find 5E really easy to shift into. The only like 1E, 2E that I've played was when we did our session 0 for Greyhawk Awakening with Jay, which was awesome. And I was really excited to try it out because I had never played, anything earlier than that. Yeah, I know. But yeah, it's just really cool, and just like just getting the opportunity to try different, like not only just in D&D, like the different editions, but like getting to try different game systems and stuff, because there's so many cool things to see and do with TTRPGs, and so that's I love it. It just just getting into the right mental space for each one to remember which one you're doing. That's just the biggest trick to it, I think. Yeah, well said. Now, Robert, you've added Castles and Crusades to that, and you've really you've espoused the simplicity of CNC and the ease to pick it up.
Troll Lord is a sponsor for both Jay and I. So if you would just talk for a minute about Castles and Crusades and what makes that an easy system to pick up and how it connects with other versions of D&D.
So, from the character class and racial standpoint, it is much more like 1E, 2E. I mean, it could really just be a stand-in for 1E, 2E. Honestly, the only real difference between it is they have ascending armor class. It's not, there's no Thaco involved. But beyond that, then it goes for anything that's non-combat related. It has what they call the Siege Engine system, which instead of having like 5e has perception, insight, history, and I think they had that for 3. They might have it for 3 or such. I think that's when that kind of started. They just have attribute checks, which gives the castle keeper, the person running the game, all kinds of freedom as to what they want to do with it. So the rules don't get in the way. It is, basically anything that is not listed as a specific skill that they have on their character sheet is, either as a racial trait or as a class feature. Castle keeper just decides what the DC check is going to be, and there's a check against a given attribute, and you go, and it makes life so much easier from that standpoint.
Right.
Combat runs because of the fact that combat's like 1E, 2E. It goes pretty quickly. I'm running 8 people at these days on Friday nights in combat without a problem. It moves right along. I don't think we've gotten bogged down in any combat ever, except one that they kind of blundered into, but that wasn't my fault.
It's never the DM's fault. Now, do you use group initiative like Jay and I do in that system, or using individual initiative?
I am using group initiative only because of the fact that just because it makes it easier when I don't know how many people I'm going to have, and it helps move things along. Along a bit.
Yeah, so I want to get to the chat here. There's some good stuff in the chat, but I want to espouse the benefits of group initiative to any DM, any streamer out there. I realize that individual initiative can create a greater sense of quote-unquote realism. You have certain feats which can improve initiative skills for a PC, which those can be nerfed a bit if you're doing group initiative. But if you watch a game and you watch how it unfolds, particularly with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players, the individual initiative will force you then to go to something like a roll 1 time at the beginning, and then extend that through all the combat, which also to me is not terribly realistic. So group initiative, a D6, it just makes it fun, and there's a lot of angst around that initiative roll, and it can mean the difference between life and death for a party when you have a group initiative roll of a D6. So I don't care what edition you're playing, it is a fun way to play the game.
I still wouldn't do it for 5e. I'll be honest with you, because 5e is not, because of the fact that because of the way 5e is built, it is built based on the idea of an individual initiative, and the classes are designed as such, and there's too many things that can get fouled up by going group initiative with it. If you're going pure, if you're going basically pure 5e.
All right, so let me check. I see Jay nodding, which is, but I'm gonna argue with you on this one. All right, Robert, because I like arguing with you. We've done this a few times, and we're fun to argue together. I ran group initiative on Friday night. We played 5e-ish, and it went great. We had no issues with the way combat unfolded.
Okay, but what was the combat on Friday night? Yeah, Friday night. I'd also point out Friday night our combats were one. We were fighting one thing.
No. You fought two wraiths. You remember the 2 wraiths? Along the bridge. You were just too tired. You were too tired.
Nine monsters.
You're not fighting 9 monsters, and let's put it. I've been running multiple 5e campaigns. That just, I couldn't imagine group initiative. It just wouldn't work.
All right, Jay, go ahead. You've been wanting to say something. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, no. It's I run the group initiative because it works on my table, especially with miniatures and terrain. Right? I did kind of an individual initiative during the Grand Melee because that is a huge thing about one-on-one combat. The initiative really matters in those fights. So I actually did a die 10 plus dexterity modifier reaction bonus. So you can roll as high as a 13 on it to get, a net. So it just depends on situations. But 5e with this, oh gosh, here I go bashing. Move, attack, and keep on moving stuff all over the place. I don't know how you do that in group initiative. I mean, it's group initiative would be such an advantage in 5e over 1e because of that dynamic that I think. But hey, every DM is free to.
I feel confident I can control that, but maybe that's just
but you're normally 3-5.
I like to point out, John, that you were modifying 5e for your purposes.
Well, I don't run any edition just straight by the books. I modify them all. All right, so let me come back, and I do want Evelyn to weigh on that in a moment, but I want to make sure we have a chance to talk to the chatters. So one was. All right, so Red Monk, you've only played 5e so far, but you played Call of Cthulhu for the first time, and a few. So that's great. And 5e, Jay and I talked about this earlier this week. I have often called it the gateway drug because 5e makes D&D accessible. The materials are fantastic. We all know there is nothing better than D&D Beyond when it comes to an online platform. D&D Beyond rocks, and so. If you're being introduced to the game in 5e, that's fantastic. But then as you get into other editions and you learn more about the lore of the game and the background of the game, I have had so many 5e players that learn 3.5, 2e, 1e, and they love the depth of these other systems. And so it's not about one being bad, one being good. There's just a difference in these systems. And so if you know 5e, that's fantastic. But keep learning. There's a whole lot more out there that can expand your... Go ahead, Jay.
I make a well-known quote. Editions change, Greyhawk endures.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Editions change, Greyhawk endures, and for me, it's all about the story, and it's all about the... So if I go back to the original mantra of Blue Box when I first put the Twitch channel up, it was thrilling role play and enticing combat, or enticing role play, thrilling combat, something like that. Like that's D&D, right? It's the role play, it's the telling the story and being in your character, and it's also rolling some dice and white knuckling it when you fumble that you might die. That's D&D. Evelyn, go ahead. All right.
I don't have any additional things to say about this. I've talked about it a lot.
I need at least one of those on every stream. I need at least one of those, Evelyn, like every stream. So another question from Just Plain Cameron. And is that Cameron? Cameron is that?
I think that's Cameron.
That's Cameron. Just Plain Cameron is Cameron. All right, Just Plain Cameron. I like that question. How do you, as a DM, prep for changing editions or games based in systems in general? I feel like there's already so much to keep in mind for a session. Don't want to slow down the game, pull stuff out of a rule book. How do y'all do it? I've got an answer there, but let me open it up to the rest of the panel here.
I don't mind pulling my books out. Sometimes you have to.
Okay, Jay.
Even when you know the system really, really well.
Jay's answer is just don't.
I'm playing. If I'm DMing, you're playing my system. It's that simple. I'll play in other systems, but if you're DMing in my campaign, it's going to be my system.
All right, Robert.
I can tell you, edition bleed is real. I've suffered through it, and if you're expecting, I mean, unless you have a DM who's playing like Jay, and Jay's been playing the same system for 40 plus years now. And why it works. I mean, he's got the same group. It's expanding and such, but he's had no reason to change. But for me, most of my times changing editions had a lot to do with having new players, because new players had had their own books, and it was the edition that was available, and that's how you do it. But I don't. I look for the differences. That's the main thing. I look for the differences, and even then, I'm not going to catch everything. Friday Night Crusades, I nearly killed a character twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row, because I assumed that there was a crit rule in Castles and Crusades, and turns out that by default there is not. And it was after the second time that somebody went and checked the rule, and we realized that there wasn't one. So I talked to the group, and we decided that for nat 20s, it was going to be max damage, because it was very, very easy to kill. It was entirely too easy to kill party members otherwise, especially when I didn't know how many were going to show up on a given week. I wanted to make it something a little more forgiving, so we went with max damage. But yeah, no, I didn't know what the rule was, because I kind of assumed. Yeah. Because it's kind of like been a standard thing, except when it isn't.
Yeah, no, I like that. And so I think that's a really good way to respond. And Cameron, my response would be less similar to Jay's. Jay is absolutely dead set on his edition, which is the one I favor. I love 2E, I love 3.5. But like Robert said, I've had new players. Or when I do con streams, and I'll have a bunch of people that jump in, and they've never played 3.5, and they don't know Thaco from a hole in the ground. And D&D Beyond is freaking awesome. So I can kick off a 5e-ish game, I think as Robert called it. I'll kick off a 5e-ish game where I'm using D&D Beyond. We're using some of the same skill sets and spell things, but then I use my custom crit tables and my custom initiative system. And then, Cameron, the easy answer is don't oversweat it. Like, for example, when I ran on Sunday, all my players got 2E character sheets, because it was Carlos Lysing's The Porcelain Sword of Queen Ashala, which we got about that much done with. And so I sent it to the players, and I said, don't worry about it. I had all the character sheets, and this was much closer to a Jay style. If you watch Jay DM, Jay does almost everything for his players. He marks their hit points, he tracks all their stats and all their, like, he's running so much of the game. I normally outsource that to my players, but when I am playing an edition that I know my players aren't familiar with, then I'll take more of that burden on myself. So I had all those character sheets printed out, and look, it's not that tough. Use Google. You've got all kinds, whether it's PFRS D20 for 3.5 or D&D Beyond for 5e. There are all kinds of resources at your fingertips. A quick Google search can get you any spell effect, any feat, anything that you need to keep your game going. And just ultimately remember, it's about the fun, it's about the story, and you can make any edition work.
For sure.
True.
All right, so Jay, I know we have a limited time. You got a stream kicking off here in a bit. But Evelyn, have I missed anything in the chat?
I don't know. Patrick kind of took a shot at. Well, he got stuck playing a bard in one of my sessions.
Well, now bards
Something
are
wrong with an old school bard.
Bards are overpowered in 5e though. Like they are the.
I wasn't feeling overpowered, John.
You should have. All right, so we know Grax Grimtongue has become a legend now in the D&D community. Robert, I was not going to let you get off this stream without giving us a refrain or two from Grax.
Oh, dear God.
Here, let me kill the background music so I don't
Grax's
distract you.
greatest hits.
Yeah, I want some of Grax's greatest hits. All right, music's gone. You're on stage, Robert.
Oh dear. Well, if you could have warned me about that, I would have.
No, I never warn anybody. You know that. That's my style. I like putting people on the spot.
Yeah. See, this is what I do every week. So you get to do it now, Robert.
Where did I put the lyrics?
Right.
It was in.
I'll give you a minute. I'll give you a minute, Grax. Let me come back to Jay while you're looking. Jay, you talked about the community and what you would like to see for the community. I'd like you to take the last sort of few minutes you have here before you have to jump to your stream and tell everyone what you envision for quote unquote the community. Like, what would you like to see LordGosumba, Blue Box, Lawful Stupid, Praetors, what would you like to see Greyhawk Online? Where could this community go in the next year or two?
I think the community is at a crossroad where we're going to either explode or stagnate at this point, and it's all dependent upon us, because you got so many people in the virtual community. We have to, I think we're saturated. We have to reach out to new communities.
Yeah.
So that is possible, and that's part of what GreyhawkCon is all about, and what we do on all of our shows. But if we don't talk it up and talk to the right, talk to friends or talk to people. There's so many people that are, I hear this all the time. Why would I watch another stream when I can play it? Right? I hear that all the time on all the Facebook message boards. I'm not watching anyone. It's not about watching someone else's stream. It's about participating in the chats, in the discords, in the community, getting a conversation going. It's not about just watching a game.
Right.
I try to explain that. I know I'm starting to sound frustrated here.
No.
It doesn't sink in all the time.
Stay on the soapbox, Jay. I like it.
Yes. So that's everyone out there can talk to a couple of their friends who are on the fence about doing it, participate. If we grow like 10%, if we grow 10% in like the next 2 to 3 months, you'll notice the difference.
Yeah.
Just that little bit. And then all of the streams will benefit. Everyone will benefit. The bloggers will benefit. Cannon Fire will benefit. The Earth Journal will benefit because more people will be participating and giving ideas. So
Jay, I love that. And the community growth is really in two directions. So I've mentioned folks like Constructed Chaos. We have Cameron on tonight. Cameron was part of my Gen Z and D stream last week, a friend of my daughter's in college. You've got Cowboy Hobb and Josh and Chandler and the whole sort of younger demographic that we're pulling into this style of D&D. But then you've got the other side where you're getting Ed Greenwood and you're getting Eric Mona and you're pulling in these legends of the game. So you're really expanding the community from both sides, and it's all about the game. It's not about your age, it's not about your gender, it's not about your demographics. It's just about the love of the game. And I think that's what you and I are really are doing, and I hope the community is going to grow. I think 10% is very conservative.
Let's walk before we run, as Anna always says. Go up on an even slope. Don't go up like this. Go up even growth. That way it can be managed too.
Well, the only way you do it without that, hey, Jason Zavoda, is to have bots, and we don't do bots. So
no, absolutely not. So, John, if I can, before I got to roll.
Yes.
John mentioned Ed Greenwood. Ed Greenwood's back on Gabbins this Sunday night. Okay, so yes, the Ed Greenwood from Forgotten Realms, Elminster himself, is on Sunday night, and tonight we're going to talk about return-ish adventures on Legends and Lore. Jason, Anna, and myself. It's a continuation from what happened on Sunday night's Ask the Experts. Yes. Oh yeah. Rob knows that I'm ready to forbear on Return to Temple of Mental Evil, but I'll be hit myself. Yes.
That was my comment. Can we stop with the return tos?
No, but there's some real good ones.
Yeah.
There's some real
there are.
And there's a lot of people don't know about. So we're gonna do that. So I have to bolt and get that set up. Wow.
Jay just wants to escape my singing.
Hey, Asher, good idea. We might raid into Jay tonight. Good idea, Asher.
Maybe a good idea.
All right, Jay.
Rob and Evelyn and John, thank you so very much.
You bet. Thank you, my friend. Have a great night.
Thanks, Jay.
We'll be talking to you. See you in a little bit.
Sounds
Bye-bye.
good. Watch this. Boom.
Boom.
Or go ahead. You got to drop. Boom. Look at that. So well done. Now we're to 2. Everything's so. That's how good we are here at Blue Box. All right. That was not that impressive. I know. I'm just teasing. All right. So Grax, before we raid Jay, please no one leave. Because I want to raid into Jay with a big number. You don't need to get in there and watch Jay tinker with his scenes and setups. I promise you we'll raid into him before he is saying anything in terms of his content on the show tonight. Robert, let me kill the music. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Grax Grimtongue.
So this was the spell I was trying to cast and failed against, as of all my spells against the Overguard failed, was Dissonant Whispers, the kind of a psychic attack. Original song was Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel. Creature of darkness, no man's friend, hear my whispers till the end. You probably thought you had me freaking with this evil you've been seeping. But these whispers will keep rattling through your brain. Feel this pain as these whispers fill the silence.
Bravo, sir. And then you had another one. Which one was it I loved? I gave you a thumbs up or a heart or something in my Discord. Let me find
You
that.
gave them all kind of.
Well, no, there was one in
weird face for one of
particular. One got the extra shout out. And okay, so fan.
Oh, was it the Vicious Mockery? The
yes, that one. All right, so prepare for that one next.
So this one, I actually felt compelled to apologize to Mike Disney in advance because I didn't want it to seem like I was actually commenting on the Overgord.
The Overgord was the star of the show on Friday night. That miniature is so awesome. Go ahead.
But yeah, Grax himself was not as impressed. So this is Vicious Mockery as done by Pink Floyd. Hey you, ugly to the core, such a stupid looking gourd, do you feel me? Hey you, with a voice to be reviled, throwing tantrums like a child, do you feel me? Hey you stupid, rotten, evil gourd, united we'll stand, in pieces we'll fall.
Hey, you all know you're not going to find this anywhere else on Twitch tonight. Only right here on Blue Box. That was fantastic, Robert. So much fun. Yes, your performance got bits. Everybody is loving it. And we got like 80 folks watching tonight on an LMA. That's pretty darn incredible. All right, so let's talk about, as we conclude, what we could do next year to make VGHC better. So to me, one is make sure we have a broader demographic on the streams. And I've got some things that we can do to improve that. And I think we can focus on the signups a little bit earlier. But what else could we do to make virtual Greyhawk Con even better next year?
Well, it's kind of funny. Actually, one thing I wanted to comment on that was a difference between this year and last year that I thought was an improvement. Last year, we had a lot of the streams come with a preset show, and it worked for the initial con. It worked and helped and build interest and everything. I think this year, the fact that all the streams were pretty much open signups, other than the Grand Melee, which still had open signups, but it was partial preset, partial, who's who in the community, partial signups. It worked really well. As for next year, it's hard. I'd like somebody to remind me to either run one adventure or run the same adventure twice, because it would make my life a lot easier if I didn't take on creating two separate adventures for two separate groups and be creating pre-gens at midnight the night before.
Yeah, no, that was me, wasn't it? Didn't I send you the pre-gens the night before? Pretty close.
Oh no, I was creating I had to create my own pre-gens. No, the night before my first session, I was still creating pre-gens for the second session. I wasn't done until like 1 a.m. The fact that we had so many women DMs.
Yeah, I love that, Seedwee. Same, like all the women DMs, all the women players. We really want to expand the community. I don't just want this to be guys with gray hair like me. I want to have a broader community, and I love introducing new players and players of different demographics into the community. So I think that was a lot of fun. That's why we have Evelyn DMing here on Blue Box. We had Thomas DMing last night.
It was so fun.
It was a blast, wasn't it? He did. And what I loved about Thomas's show last night, I felt like he really paid attention to the production quality. Like all the views and everything were so perfectly done, which that meant a lot to me. So anyway, I got off track. But Evelyn, what else could we do to make VGHC better next year? As she thinks, I'm looking through the chat. I saw up there, yes, Steve loved your singing, Robert, not surprising. And then, you're starting to turn gray, I'm sorry to hear that. It happens to all of us eventually. Just don't fight it. Don't fight it. Go with it. Embrace it, my friend. You'll never see me dyeing my hair or using Just for Men or anything like that. I'll go with the gray. And then Biggie Paw Confused about the times. Okay, so, oh yes, up earlier also, the broader community, how to reach out to more folks. That was a great question. So, yeah, her glasses do rock. So I think that's what Jay was really focusing on. We're going to continue to do things to reach out. We're reaching out to other streamers. Jay definitely is phenomenal at pulling the strings on the legends of the game and getting these people like Leonard Lakofka was a regular on his stream. He's got Anna B. Meyer. He's got Ed Green. He is so good at pulling those in. But what all of us can do is reach out to our community. Talk to your friends. I'm going to pick on Cameron for a second. I mentioned this on my Gen Z and D stream last week. Cameron is 23, something like that. I don't know, it's in that range. And she's a friend of my daughter in college. Now, my daughter, who has played D&D since she was 10 years old, loves it. She's really good at it, but she's a little bit socially recalcitrant about actually talking about it. So she doesn't shout it out. She doesn't want me tagging her anywhere in social media with it. She doesn't really want to stream very often. She's done it a few times, but she's been a little bit more hesitant lately. And she came to me about a month ago and said, "Dad, there's a girl in my classes at school, and we sit in class and the teacher says, 'Tell us what your hobbies are, what you like to get involved with.'" And we're all sort of talking about the normal stuff and hobbies, and this girl pops up and says, "I like D&D. I love to play Dungeons and Dragons." And she's done that in like 3 different classes now, Dad. She's so bold. So my daughter came up to her after class and covertly said, "I play D&D too. Where'd you get so brave?" And that's how Cameron came to be part. So I think the best answer is all of you, please reach out to your friends, reach out to others, tell them about the community, bring them in. I think of Chandler. Chandler was a friend of Thomas. Think of Josh, and he's brought in Kristen, and like everybody has brought Bloodwild. Steve brought in Siegland. All of you have had an impact on bringing people in the community. So just think about others that you can reach out to and help us continue to grow. That's the best way to grow, because we're getting people that are like-minded, good people. That's what we want. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. Sorry. As we wrap up tonight, we do have one question for you, which we've not asked tonight. If you're watching and you haven't followed, or if you're a follower and you haven't subscribed, or if you're a sub, and yes, indeed, there are some of you that fall into this latter and most reviled of categories, most heinous, most debauched category. Your sub has expired and you have not resubbed. We have one question for you here at Blue Box. What are you doing? Come on, give us a follow, give us a sub. We appreciate all the support here. And again, thank you to Jay, LordGosumba. Thank you to the whole community. The weekend was off the chain. We are really gaining growth and attention. And thank you to Evelyn and Robert, because you guys were incredible this weekend. Any final thoughts from either of you before I raid?
Well, Evelyn, you'll go first, because my thought is I'm tired.
Yeah, what, is there any of us here who are not? Did you see Jay? I've never seen Jay look that tired.
It was a very, 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 very long, very glorious 3 days, but it was, yeah, many hours.
You now need con recoup time.
No, like it's it's just insane how tired all of us are. But thank you, everyone. Evelyn, any final thoughts?
My final thought is actually in answer to your question about like what might help for next year is like more promotion of all the various games too, because like I didn't even know who was really streaming until
no, that's a good point. VGHC part 2 next week. Well, there will be a part 2 to my Sunday, the Porcelain Sword of Queen Ashala's campaign. There will be a part 2 to that. I'll get that scheduled. But how do you think we could do that, Evelyn? How could we be more vocal about pushing it out?
I mean, maybe like having all of the various folks who are actually DMing games share like what they are doing across the various platforms so that we can help cross promote.
What's the most effective platform? Because like I'm super active on Instagram. I don't really do much of anything on Facebook. I think you post on our Twitter sometimes, but like to me, it's
I post across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and Discord for all of our stuff.
What do you think's the most effective?
Our Instagram seems to get the most interaction, though. We actually do for
Go
like
door to door.
I mean, may I bring to you the gospel of D&D? No, but like,
should I wear a white shirt and a black tie and have a bicycle?
Excuse me, we'd like to talk to you about our saving grace toolbox, if you have some time.
Okay, stop the blasphemy. All right, move on.
But I mean, engagements is just like
retweet
the people who are like the regular viewers. Like, yeah, share those things on the various platforms. Tag the other streamers so that they can share it within their communities too. So like all across the various social media platforms and Discord and stuff, like sharing that information as people who watch them and as people who are involved with these various streams, it would help a lot to get that out there more.
Well said. Well said. Well, look, on behalf of the whole community, I want to say thank you to LordGosumba, Jay, for putting on VGHC. It was a great time. Thank you to Robert, who were, I think, only second to Jay in activity last weekend. And you were like everywhere, dude. Everywhere.
I mean, let's put it this way. I started off on Friday morning with watching Mike Disney do his magic at 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. My session that night ended at 1:15 a.m. Eastern time, John. Then woke up because we ran really late.
Yeah.
And then 10 a.m. the next morning. Actually, no, I woke up at 9 o'clock next morning to get some of the early morning thing before my 10 a.m. game. Then it was right until the Grand Melee was over that night, all the way through, with maybe a half an hour break in between my sessions. And then Sunday was 10 a.m. right until the wrap-up show was done.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you and well done. Thank you to all the viewers today. Thank you for the chat. As always, the Mad Chatters, you are the best. Thank you, Lord Grendelwolf, as well. Here we go, raiding Jay. I think we got 50 folks or so. Hang on as we raid Jay. Have a great night. Blue Box will be back on Sunday with our Rune Lords campaign. I'm looking forward to it. They're in a tight spot. It's going to be a lot of fun. And also, Renan should be streaming the paint tomorrow on the sculpt for the Pale Lord on Thursday night. And Blue Box signing out. Love to all of you. Have a great night, friends. Thank you. And rating Jay with 50. Let's go!
50!